What if the limits you believe you have, well, what if they don't actually exist? What if the pain you fear, the excuses you always make, all those struggles you face, what if they're actually just part of your training?
That's a pretty provocative way to start. And it really gets to the heart of what we're digging into today, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Today, we are doing a deep dive into David Goggins' memoir, Can't Hurt Me. And look, he's more than just a former Navy SEAL or an ultramarathon guy.
Right. He's someone who seems to have deliberately engineered his own transformation, taking, profound suffering and turning it into just incredible strength.
Yeah, turning trauma into a kind of blueprint for mental mastery. It's really something else.
And that's what makes the book so compelling, I think. It's not just his story you read passively. It feels like a challenge, almost an instruction manual aimed right at you, the reader.
Exactly. Forces you to look inward.
Yeah, at your own limits, not just his.
So for you listening, our mission today is really to pull out the most important, maybe the most challenging nuggets from this book.
Kind of a shortcut, maybe.
Yeah, a shortcut to understanding his, let's say, unique approach to pushing boundaries, whether you feel like you're battling excuses, maybe lacking discipline, or you're just genuinely curious about what it really means to test your limits.
And to really get Goggins' mindset, you're going to have to start where he started, the foundation. His childhood.
Right.
The book lays out this incredibly troubled beginning. We're talking severe abuse, racism, real poverty. It's not just backstory.
No, it feels like the crucible, where his whole philosophy was forged.
Exactly. It shaped this initial self-image of, fear, insecurity, victimhood.
It's honestly hard to imagine starting from that point. It seems almost insurmountable. But the book makes it clear he eventually chose to confront it. He didn't just stay stuck there.
Yeah, and this is crucial. The book offers zero shortcuts, no feel-good platitudes.
None at all.
The big insight is how he reframes pain. It stops being something you just avoid.
It becomes the teacher.
The ultimate teacher, yeah. He wasn't just reacting to suffering. He started, actively interrogating it, asking, okay, what belief is this pain challenging? What weakness is it showing me that I can actually strengthen?
So it's about turning that victimhood into agency, real agency.
Radical agency. And once he made that choice, that conscious shift, he needed a way to keep himself honest, brutally honest.
Which leads us straight to one of his most, maybe intimidating tools, the accountability mirror.
Yeah, we've all heard about self-reflection, right?
Yeah.
But this is different.
Takes it to another level.
Totally. It's about radical self-honesty. He describes literally plastering his mirror with sticky notes every morning.
Wow.
Listing all the truths he didn't want to face, all the excuses, all the areas he was failing. It wasn't just thinking about flaws.
It was writing them down, seeing them.
Committing to seeing them daily.
Yeah.
A raw, unavoidable confrontation with the stuff we usually just, rationalize away.
What do you think stops most people from trying something like that level of honesty?
Well, probably the fear of what you'll actually see. Right?
Yeah.
That real hard look at your own insecurities. It's uncomfortable.
Deeply uncomfortable, but that discomfort seems key, which brings us to maybe the most famous idea from Can't Hurt Me, the 40% rule.
Ah, yes. The 40% rule.
For anyone who hasn't heard of it, how does Goggins actually explain this? It sounds kind of counterintuitive.
It does, but it taps into something psychologically profound, I think. The rule basically states, when your mind is screaming at you that you're done, that you're completely tapped out, whether it's a workout, a tough project, whatever, you've actually only used about 40% of your real capacity.
Only 40%?
Yeah. It's not usually physical exhaustion holding you back at that point. It's more like your brain's self-preservation instinct hitting the panic button way too early. It wants comfort.
So what's locking away the other 60%?
According to Goggins, it's those internal governors. Fear, fatigue, mental fatigue often, and just crippling self-doubt. And his argument is that unlocking that potential isn't about having some special talent you were born with. It's about building mental toughness.
Right. It shifts the whole game. It's not, am I capable, but how much discomfort am I willing to push through?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's an active choice to suffer a bit more, to gain a lot more.
And speaking of pushing through, he has this other principle. It sounds quite aggressive, actually. Taking souls.
Yeah, that phrase definitely grabs your attention.
It does. How does he frame that so it's not just about, being arrogant or vengeful?
That's a fair question. He clarifies it. It's not about maliciousness. When people doubt him, disrespect him, or basically expect him to fail and quit.
Which happened a lot based on his story.
Constantly. He doesn't just brush it off. He consciously uses that negative energy as fuel, pure fuel.
Okay, so how does that translate into action?
His response isn't arguing or boasting. It's simply to outwork them, outperform them, outlast them.
Oh.
It's about proving to himself, primarily, what's possible when you just refuse to break.
Mm.
And by doing that, he demonstrates this level of resilience that, well, it makes other people question their own limit. That's the taking souls part, showing them what's possible.
So demonstrating, not just declaring, I get that. And that connects directly to his whole emphasis on embracing discomfort, right? Building calloused minds.
Yes, precisely.
He seems to deliberately seek out incredibly hard, often painful situations. It can sound almost masochistic from the outside. What's the real point there?
Well, his core belief is that you absolutely never find greatness inside your comfort zone. Never.
Mm-hmm.
So he actively seeks out suffering, but not just for the sake of it. It's purposeful. It's to forge what he calls that calloused mind. It's mental resilience, like building up scar tissue. But mentally, it comes specifically from daily intentional exposure to hard stuff, to adversity.
Like lifting weights for your brain's tolerance for difficulty.
That's a great analogy, yeah. He's basically challenging all of us, you listening included, to ask, where are we intentionally seeking discomfort? Are we building any mental calluses at all, or are we just staying soft?
That's a really confronting question, because it's easy to talk about, much harder to actually do consistently. I've tried putting myself in harder situations sometimes, and yeah, the consistency is the killer.
It absolutely is.
So with all these intense ideas, the mirror, the 40% rule, taking souls, callous minds, how does this all come across when you actually read the book? Because Can't Hurt Me isn't your typical fluffy motivational read.
Oh, definitely not. Fluffy is the last word I'd use.
Right. Its style is so raw, so unapologetic. It's really unique.
That rawness is exactly what makes it hit so hard, I think. Goggins doesn't sugarcoat anything. He doesn't sanitize his story.
No filter.
Zero filter.
No.
He talks openly about his mistakes, his deep weaknesses, even moments where he completely broke down. He doesn't start out as this perfect hero figure.
Which makes his eventual success feel earned, relatable even, despite how extreme it is.
Exactly. It feels incredibly hard-earned. His language is intense, sometimes profane. His tone is completely unapologetic. And through all that, the message that comes through is incredibly powerful and clear.
Which is?
It's basically, look, if I could pull myself out of the absolute abyss I was in and achieve these things, then you, whatever your struggles are, you absolutely have the potential to do more too.
It removes the excuses.
Completely.
So, wrapping up our deep dive here on Can't Hurt Me, it's pretty clear this is way more than just a book. It feels like a mental boot camp you sign yourself up for just by reading it.
That's a perfect description. It doesn't try to inspire you with feel-good stories that make you warm and fuzzy for 5 minutes.
No, it uses real, gritty, often very uncomfortable truths.
It's really an invitation, isn't it? An invitation for you, the listener, to stop seeking comfort above all else, to stop settling, to maybe start figuring out how to become truly unstoppable in your own life.
It's definitely not a book you just read and then put back on the shelf unchanged.
No, it demands something from you. It demands some internal action, some real reflection. And sometimes, yeah, maybe you just need that kind of mental kick in the pants, you know?
We probably all do sometimes. And as you think about all this, about Goggins' journey and these concepts, we want to leave you with one of his own lines to really chew on.
Okay.
He issues this warning. You are in danger of living a life so comfortable and soft that you will die without ever realizing your true potential.
Wow. That's potent.
It really is.
Yeah.
So take that with you. What might that powerful statement mean for your own life, your own journey? And how might you start pushing beyond those limits you once thought were absolutely fixed?